They have been up maybe for about 30 minutes, and you've already been up for 5 hours. You've already read your Bible. You got your steps in, probably about 15,000 steps. You've done a cardio for an hour. You've done strength testing for an hour. You got a healthy breakfast. You're clean, showered, ready. There is something about that just jacks you up and puts you in a really positive state of mind. I call it like the peak state of mind, ready to go attack the day. What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to another D.B.A. Mindset podcast, a podcast that is geared towards one purpose, and that purpose is to help everyone eliminate that voice of average that sometimes, and unfortunately, we all listen to on a daily basis. I'm excited about today's podcast. I've been getting some positive feedback from you guys in the comments, on Instagram, and just other avenues reaching out to me, basically saying you like this style, you're enjoying them and keeping them up, or keep putting them out, which that's what I'm going to do regardless. So today's podcast is a question that I get asked a lot, or a topic that I get asked to cover. I've done multiple videos of it on my actual YouTube channel, and it is actually my #1 most viewed video on my channel right now, and that is about my 3 a.m. morning routine and what that looks like. Now, I've been implementing the 3 a.m. morning routine for a very long time now. I want to say over a year. And I am a firm believer that your morning routine determines and sets how your life turns out. I know that's a bold statement, and that's probably has a lot of weight. However, I do feel like it is true. I am a firm believer, like I said, in the morning routine, and I feel like everybody needs to have a morning routine. And the average person that I speak to, if I ask them, what does your morning routine look like, it is not set in stone. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are free-spirited and free-minded that like to kind of go with the flow. However, I understand that works for some people. All the books that I've read, and me personally, I like structure, I like schedule. There is research behind, especially when it comes to teaching and students, how people thrive off of structure and schedule. And that is why I started implementing a morning routine. It's something that I've been, like I said, doing for about a year now. And I remember there was a couple mornings where I went and I did not do my morning routine, and it messed up my entire day. And that is why I say that statement, that I feel that your morning routine determines how your life turns out. Because if I do not do this morning routine, my day is jacked up. And if I do that and it compounds day after day after day, well, then that should lead to my life being jacked up or my life not feeling right. And that is why I feel that if you have a morning routine that you stick to every single day, not just Monday through Friday, but every single day, you are setting yourself up for success. So that's what we're going to be talking about into this video. Like I said, I've done a couple videos on this, on what my morning routine looks like. However, I really haven't been able to dive deep into my thought process of why I structure and why I include, I'm going to refer to them as the pillars. And I believe there's 7 of them. Let me check my notes. Yes, 7 pillars when it comes to creating your own morning routine. Now, there's a lot of morning routines out there. You could type on YouTube, morning routine, and you'll see all of them. I've done the 5 a.m., I've done the 6 a.m. However, I am a firm believer of the 3 a.m., and I know that's crazy for some people. However, it works for me, so I'm going to kind of go into detail about it. So I'll basically break down the structure of what my morning routine looks like every single day. First off, I'm going to answer one of the questions I always get asked. What does it look like on the weekends? It looks the exact same. I never change it. And the reason why I don't change it is because I was listening to, I want to say, Jocko Willick's podcast, and he was talking about you got to do your routine 7 days a week, not just 5 days a week. And the reason why I say that is because when I've done it only 5 days a week and then, switched off of it on the weekends, it's really hard to get back into it on Monday morning, especially if you're waking up at 3 a.m. If you decide, hey, I'm going to sleep in on the weekends, then Monday really sucks because you probably get to bed late Sunday night, which affects you trying to wake up at 3 a.m. on Monday morning, and then you're tired all day Monday, and then Tuesday you're kind of getting back in the swing of, and by the time you kind of gain momentum, you decide, hey, I'm going to sleep in again. So I'm a firm believer, just keep it 7 days a week, whatever your morning routine is. So I'm excited about this one. So without further ado, let's jump straight into why exactly I wake up at 3 a.m. But first, let's break it down what the routine looks like. So first up on my 3 a.m. agenda, the first thing I do every single morning when I wake up is I weigh myself. I weigh myself every single day. And the reason why, some people say that's really bad. I actually used to tell for a long time people not to weigh themselves every single day. I said it's depressing, don't do it. I retract that statement. I think it is a very good way to keep data and see if what you're doing is working. Now, I don't buy into it every single day because I've done it for a very long time. If you watch your weight consistently for a very long time, it doesn't affect you when you're super low, you don't get super happy, or when you're super high, you don't get super, down or depressed, because it's all about averages. So the reason why I weigh myself every single morning is to track data, which I'll go into in a little bit more detail. I'm just going to enter it in my phone, and then I'm going to enter my first Phorm app, which tracks all my, weight and everything, so I could see it at a glance. I'm a visual learner, so I need to have basically it in front of me to actually have me learn, if that makes sense. So I first enter it into my phone, just so I have it and I don't forget it. Next thing I do is I drink water. I'll grab one of my water bottles, this one particularly, right here, this bad boy right here. It's 1.5 liters. And I'll just chug it as much as I can. I noticed that if it's at warm or room temperature, I could drink it a lot more of it. So what I do is I'll keep it outside of my fridge, and that way in the morning when I come in and grab it, it's room temperature, and I try to drink about 8 ounces. There's studies behind that basically saying you're fasted for 8 hours, the reason why you're tired is your organs and everything function off of water. So by drinking a lot of water, it wakes up all your organs, gives you a little energy. They actually also say that that's the reason why you feel a 2 o'clock crash. And I've done this with my students. It's not that you're tired, it's that you're dehydrated. Chances are you have not been drinking throughout the day. So if you are dehydrated, your organs start not working properly. Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor or anything. This is just what I've heard in research. But try it. Next time you're tired in the afternoon, drink some water and see if it wakes you up. I find that it works for me, so that's why I incorporated it into my morning routine. So after I drink my water, I obviously get dressed. Now the key to this, obviously waking up early, you're probably going to wake up people in your house. In order to avoid that, I store all my week's outfits. I know this kind of sounds weird, but all my gym clothes and everything in my office. That way, because I've had days where I forgot it and then I have to go back into the room, maybe wake up my daughter, maybe wake up my wife. So to avoid that, on Sundays when I do my laundry, I literally put all my gym clothes and underwear and socks and everything in a whole separate closet. That way I don't have to disturb anybody. So for everybody who's like, oh, I can't wake up because it's going to wake up my family. No, there's ways around it. After I get dressed, I obviously make my pre-workout drink, which depending on the day, it's going to have some type of carb in it that is fast digesting, gives me some energy, and then obviously it's going to have some caffeine. Once I do that, the first thing I do now is I pull up my laptop, because on my laptop I have a Google Sheets, which tracks everything. Because again, this is all about keeping data. So now I take the information from my phone from the day before, and I look at, for instance, I have an iWatch. So I'll look at the calories I burned and the amount of steps I got the day before. And then I'll also enter in my weight from today. And the reason why is because I'm tracking everything. If I had a huge drop in weight, I'm going to see, okay, well, how many steps did I get in the day before? How many calories did I get in the day before? And I'm logging this. And I do an average every week so that I can see, because at the end of the week, I take an average of my weight. And that allows me to track, okay, what did I do this week that maintained my weight, lost weight, or gained weight? Again, I'm a visual learner, so I have to see all this. If I don't see it, it's not going to register, and chances are I'm not going to get results. I really started seeing results in my fitness and my health when I started tracking everything daily. And the reason why is because, like I said, I can make adjustments daily. I used to do it once a week. I used to weigh myself Saturday mornings. Well, if I had some bad days in between and my weight went up or went down, I don't have that data. So it really got me like depressed on Saturdays if I didn't lose any weight, because I thought, okay, that's a waste of a week. What I've noticed now is if I don't lose any weight, it kind of makes me flip a switch. Look back on the day before, take accountability. Well, I had, 12 donuts, so that's why my weight went up. Or, I got in a lot of steps, that's why my weight went down. And then it allows me to make some adjustments first thing in the morning. So, again, once I log previous daily stats, then I get into the actual personal development part. So within the next 40 minutes, my goal is to, 1, do my daily devotional, 2, read the Bible, and then 3, read some type of personal development book. Now, I am obviously a religious person. If you're not religious, then obviously this is my spiritual pillar, which I'll get into more detail later. Do something for yourself, whether it's meditation. I actually don't really know what else is out there. For me, it's just my spiritual time with God and where I actually dive into my religion and try to become better in that aspect of my life. So I'll do a daily devotional, which is basically just a page. It's geared towards men, kind of has basically a Bible verse, and then kind of breaks it down. But that's something that you can apply to that day. So it's a quick read. Once I'm done with that, then I jump into the Daily Man's year in a Bible in a year. Basically, is why can't I think of the word right now? The plan that I'm doing right now. So basically, by the end of this year, I will have read the entire Bible. Now, this Bible also breaks it down where it breaks down what I'm reading. So it gives me a passage from the Old Testament, from the New Testament, from Psalms, and then from Proverbs. Once I'm done with that, that takes me about 20 minutes. Once I'm done with that, then I jump into my personal development. So whatever book I'm reading at the time, I'll read basically 20 minutes of it. And the reason why I do 20 minutes of it is because the entire time I'm doing this, I'm actually walking on the treadmill. So I'm getting 40 minutes of movement. Okay, now while I'm doing this, I'm also drinking my pre-workout. So a lot's happening right now, right? I'm physically moving, which is waking me up. I got caffeine going through me, which is waking me up. And then my mind is just getting focused, and I like to refer to it as fortified. I haven't checked my phone. I haven't done anything on my phone besides log my nutrition or my weight and my stats from the day before. I have not checked social media. I haven't looked at any emails. I haven't done anything except for get movement in, drink some water, and basically fortify my mind. If you follow me on Instagram, then you see me post this every single day. I feel like this 40 minutes is crucial to my morning routine because it gets my mind right. Everybody has issues that they're going through. Everybody has struggles. Everybody has just negativity or bad stuff happening to them. And I'm realizing it a lot more, that a lot of people are going through some stuff. I feel like this 40 minutes protects me. Doesn't eliminate anything, right? Life still happens, and like I say, weapons are still going to be formed against me and still going to be something I have to deal with. However, if I spend this 40 minutes fortifying my mind, I notice it makes me a little bit stronger and ready for the day. If I don't do this, if I miss my 40 minutes, my mind is jacked up and the rest of my day sucks. So this is crucial. I have to get that 40 minutes in. Once I'm done with that, then I jump into, depending on the day, you guys see me, sometimes I jump into cardio, sometimes I jump into strength training. Basically what it is, I'll do an hour of strength training, which is either, it could be depending on the day, but it's basically a workout. Chest, back, shoulders, biceps, legs, core, that's my strength. So it's one of those things. If you're interested in actually what that workout looks like, then obviously subscribe to the channel and make sure you follow along because I always post my workouts. Once I'm done with the strength session, then I'm going to jump into my cardio session. There's a reason why, which I'll kind of dive to in a minute, but I'll do cardio session, which ranges anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, depending on if I'm training for a Spartan race, or right now I'm trying to do 150 miles in the month of June, so that's a lot of running I have to do. So typically, once I'm done with my strength session, I'll jump into, like right now I'm running 6 miles a day, which basically takes me an hour. And then once I'm done with that, that's basically the physical part of my morning routine. As soon as I'm done with that, I'll come in, I'll have a healthy breakfast, all of this, within the time I've done this, I've already drank one of these. So 1.5 liters already down the hatch. And then if you follow me on Instagram, you see that I always basically post my stats from my morning routine when it comes to the strength and the cardio session, and I always say I built momentum for the day. because that's really what I'm trying to do with my morning routine, is build momentum and get my mind right, and then get me ready to attack the day. So once I've done everything, mentally wise, physically wise, now it's like I got to get into the last healthy part of it, which is my nutrition. So my breakfast, depending on if it's a low carb day, a medium carb day, or a high carb day, pretty much always the same. It's going to be oats, which is a form of carbs, and then a protein powder. I'm a big fan of overnight oats or hot oatmeal in the morning, whatever it is. It's quick, it's efficient, and I can make it the night before. So for all those people that say, oh, I can't have a healthy breakfast because I'm on the go, I'm on the go too. I was there right now, I'm on summer break. But if it's during school year and I'm teaching, I have to be at school at 8:30. But I'm able to basically grab my oats, which I made the night before, throw it in the microwave for a minute. As soon as that minute's done, now I have a protein, a carb, and a little bit of fat. And as I'm eating this, I'm finishing, like I said, 1.5 liter of water. So I've done a lot. I covered everything when it comes to that, the physical part, the mental part, and obviously the nutrition part. Now the last part is you got to get ready. Now I know this sounds weird. Even on summer break, I still am trying to force myself to get ready, meaning I go take a shower, brush my teeth. I do that every single day. But brush my teeth, shower, and then get ready, get dressed, put my contacts in, do my hair, whatever. There's something about physically getting ready and trying to look good makes you feel good. And if this is all about this morning routine, it's really just trying to build momentum and get your mind right and get you ready to attack the day without the average mindset. All right, so once I'm showered, teeth brushed, and body washed, I am ready to attack the day, and then usually I'm at work. Now again, a recap, I'll wake up at 3 o'clock. I'm usually in my gym by 3:15, 3:20. I'm done with cardio by about 4. I'm done with my strength session by about 5:15. I'm done with my cardio session by about 6:15. I'm eating my breakfast at about 6:30. I'm showered, ready to attack the day, clean, teeth brushed, and hair ready, all by about 7 o'clock. 7:15 at the latest, I'm out the door. Now on summer, I'm done at 7:15. I got nowhere to go, so it allows me to, I'm either editing videos, figuring out what I'm going to do, or honestly, I might just kick back and play some video games until my wife and daughter wakes up at about 7:45, 8. So that took me about 5 hours, okay? And there's a reason for that, why I choose 3 o'clock in the morning. You are a dangerous person mentally when you wake up and the first person you're in contact with, whether I'm at work, whether it's a student, whether it's someone on the street, whether it's I'm running to the grocery store or something, mentally there is something that it does for you. When the first person you come in contact with, chances are they have been up maybe for about 30 minutes and you've already been up for 5 hours. You've already read your Bible, you got your steps in, probably about 15,000 steps, you've done a cardio for an hour, you've done strength testing for an hour, you got a healthy breakfast, you're clean, showered, ready. There is something about that just jacks you up and puts you in a really positive state of mind. I call it like the peak state of mind, ready to go attack the day. I see it especially when I'm going on runs, and like as I'm running and I'm finishing up my 6 miles or something and I see someone getting ready to go to work or something, it's just like there's something about that just makes you feel positive. Not like I'm competing with them or whatever, but you can't help but feel good about yourself that you forced yourself to get up and get after it before the average person would. And again, I'm not attacking everybody because everybody's life's different, but when I see people like that and then they're complaining about how they never have time for anything, or they're tired, or they don't want to be at work, it sucks, because it's like I feel like I got the secret. I got the cheat code for you. You got to wake up early and you got to get after your morning routine. I guarantee, I challenge you, if you do this, chances are you're going to be feeling completely different as you go through your day, as you start your job, all that stuff. So, why do I wake up at 3? Let's break it down. Let's break it down pillar by pillar in this. The first pillar that you need to have, again, you can do whatever you want for your morning routine. These are the 7 pillars that I feel really help you build momentum and put you in that peak state of mind that the average person is lacking. First pillar, you gotta have nutrition. This is in no particular order. You gotta have nutrition, meaning the areas that I cover with nutrition when it comes to my morning routine is, 1, I'm hydrated, right? My goal, drink 1.5 liters of one of these bad boys before I go to work. I drink 3 of these a day. 1 before I even get to work at about 8, one from the time basically from 8 to 12, and then one from 12 to 5, 6 o'clock at night. I shut it off. So if you break it down, 3 to 6, I'm not very good in math. What is that? 12, 15 hours. In the matter of 15 hours, I'm drinking this. But within the first 5 hours, I've already drank one of these. Crucial. Make sure you stay hydrated. Also, have yourself a good breakfast. There's really no reason. You could even actually, if you're like, hey, I don't like protein, I'm more of an eggs kind of person. I have cooked my eggs the night before and microwaved them the day of, in the morning of. Or people are like, oh, it's nasty, it doesn't taste as good. You're right, it doesn't taste as good. But I'm not going for taste right now. I'm trying to hit my goal of nutrition in my morning routine, and this allows me to do it. So if you're saying you don't have time for nutrition, again, this, especially with a morning routine and the topic of this, you got to make time. So nutrition, once you get your water, make sure you have some type of protein and carbs. It could be a protein shake, it could be overnight oats. That's pillar number 1. Nutrition is key. Pillar number 2, actually before I even get into that, all these pillars came from different successful people that I've read about of what their morning routine looks like, and all of them basically had some form of this. They may have not had all of it, but they've had some form of it. I took it all and I put it into mine. Second one, you got to have some type of strength training. The reason why I say you have to have strength training is because there is something that it does to you mentally. It covers like a different part of your mindset. But when you are physically seeing results, whether you're, if I'm working out shoulders and my shoulders are looking, jacked, or if I'm doing arms and my arms are, I'm looking leaner that morning, there's something that's, again, that's positive feedback that's going into your mind and making you feel good. The morning routine is not only just to help you perform throughout the day, but it's to create a certain type of feeling that you can create to go out into the world. Basically, that's what I'm trying to do. So the strength session makes me feel a certain way about my personal image. And again, that's dangerous. Now the third pillar is you got to have some type of cardio. And the reason why I say cardio is because there's something about a runner's high. Okay, I hate running. I can't say I hate it all the way. I used to hate it. I used to never understand why people would get their jollies off of running for like 6 miles. It makes no sense. Until I started realizing where my best peak mind state and where I have always been the most creative is when I'm running. It's no joke. Like if I am like if I have to think of a YouTube video, if I'm trying to think of how I'm going to rearrange my room or I'm going to do something creative, where I get the most creative is when I'm running. And I think it's just because it sucks. At the end of the day, I think there's something about being in a sucky situation where you can just get lost in a trance where you start getting very creative. So I think it's important that you incorporate this. And some people might be watching this thinking, I can't run a mile. That's fine. You got to start somewhere. There's something about, and what I've realized is when I was not able to run 6 miles, but I'd say I could run like 1 mile, it still happened. Right? It's still got those creative juices flowing. Sometimes it's even when I'm walking. So I challenge you, don't use the excuse of, oh, I'm not a runner. No, you don't have to run. Just get out and do some type of cardio. Whether you're on a bike, an elliptical or something, I promise you your creative juices are going to get flowing. So that's pillar number 3. Pillar number 4 is you got to do some type of personal development. There's so many people that I talk to that they're like, oh, I never have time to read. Well, we'll have to do a whole podcast on not having enough time. But you need to make time. You can make time to read 10 pages a day. I promise you that. And I can't force that on anybody because I've tried to force it on people like, hey man, if you could read, I promise you it would change so much of your life. Even Cassie, my wife, she will tell me, hey, have you not been reading lately? Because she'll tell like when I'm either super negative, I'm not, there's just a lot of downside to not reading. And I'm not saying that you have to read a book a week like me or whatever, but I challenge you to at least read 10 pages. Read 5 pages in the morning, 5 pages at night. I encourage you to do it all at once because chances are that first 5 pages, you won't actually pay attention to what you're reading. It's not until like the 5th to 10th pages that you actually pay attention to what you're reading. So it's some type of personal development. Find a book that you're really interested in on whether it's relationships, communication, an area that you're weak on, whether it's, it could be working out. It could be something that you want to get better at. I encourage you to read some type of book. If you're curious and you're like, hey Bryce, I never bought a book, what book would you recommend? I got a lot of them. So just comment below and I'll recommend one depending on what you're looking for. Fifth pillar, again, this I'm going to say spiritual because it kind of encompasses everything. Do something where you can just basically open up your mind, and I like to think of it as something bigger than yourself. Like if you have certain problems, the reason why I like reading the Bible is it helps me know that there's always a bigger plan. There's always someone with a plan. And some people may say it's the universe has a plan. Some people may say God has a plan. Whatever it is, I think I believe that you need to have some time devoted to your spiritual needs. Again, may look different to everybody else. For me, it's my daily devotional, and then obviously my Bible in a year. Once I'm done with that, so that's the fifth pillar. The sixth pillar is you got to get ready. Again, you have to be ready. What's that saying that guy says? If you stay ready, you never have to get ready. It's 100% true. Also, if you look good, you feel good, and you have a good day. So at the end of the day, get ready. If you're a stay-at-home mom, if you work from home, whatever, don't just be in your pajamas all day. There's something that it does to you mentally where it makes you feel or think less of yourself. When you get ready, even if it's to get ready to sit around the house all day, I promise you, you'll feel better about yourself. And the last pillar, again, this is probably the most important pillar, is you got to pick a time. And that's the easy part. The hard part is you got to stick to that time. I'm not encouraging everybody to go out there and start waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. If you want to try it, cool. By all means, do it. Hashtag tag me in it, whatever, so that I see that I'm not the only crazy person waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning. Again, whatever time it is, pick it, right? You got to choose your time, but stick with it. The next day, I mean, if you're watching this right now and you're pumped up and you're like, man, I've been waiting to start a morning routine. I'm going to start doing this. I'm starting tomorrow. I'm waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. If you know deep down inside that you usually wake up at 9, and you're telling yourself right now, I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, chances are when that alarm clock goes off, it's going to win. And that voice of average is going to tell you to go back to bed, and you're going to listen to it. So I would encourage you, maybe start whatever time you're used to waking up, wake up 30 minutes earlier, an hour earlier, whatever it may be, and build off of that. The key to all this, though, is like I said, you got to do it every single day. So every single night, I'm usually in bed by about 8:39 at the latest. Every single morning, I'm up at 3:15 at the latest. That is my morning. That is my schedule that I stick to 7 days a week. It's the same on the weekends, and it's the same on the weekdays. It's the same during summer. It's the same during school. I don't want to fall off of it because it's super hard to get back into it. And that's basically my morning routine and the breakdown of why I do it. So I think we're running out of time on this podcast. This is episode 3 of the D.B.A. Mindset Podcast. Like I said, this is something that I really wanted to dive deep into because I feel like in my videos on the past, I really haven't given reasons of why I do what I do or with the staples of my morning routine. If you guys are interested in seeing what it looks like day to day, I literally post it every single day on my Instagram. You can follow along. You can tag me on your morning routine. Comment below what your morning routine looks like. If you use these pillars, if you have any other pillars that you're like, hey, Bryce, this is what I do, give it a try. I would love to hear it. I'm always looking to improve because if you look back on that video that I did at 3 a.m. in the morning, I think I posted it over a year ago. Everything I just said, my morning routine changes, and it's always going to keep changing because it's all about figuring out ways to little tweaks and stuff that you can add, stuff that you can take away. And if you guys have been following my channel, you guys know that it's kind of changed. However, I've been doing this one, I want to say 5 months probably now, and this is the one that I feel like it really changed my whole world in a way, especially when I was going to school for my master's, working full-time, and then just doing a bunch of other stuff, trying to create content, all that stuff. I feel like the morning routine, I never strayed away from it, even if life was happening and I had stuff going on or whatever it may be, or Cassie had stuff going on, I still would make an effort and without a doubt get my morning routine because I know it's what really sets my day up, and I know that it's setting my life up. And that's why I encourage you out there, start a morning routine. If someone asks you right now, what is your morning routine, and you could not give them a set answer, I'd be afraid. I would try to start some type of morning routine. Even if you take a couple of my pillars and start, tweaking them and just kind of maybe take 2 or 3 of them and build off of that, I would encourage you that. Because, like I said, I am a firm believer of a morning routine, and I feel like the average person, that's where they live an average life, is they do not have a morning routine that they stick to at the end of the day. So, Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you guys subscribe. I'm going to be putting one of these out every single week. If there is a topic that you guys would like me to touch on and you want to know what my thoughts are on it, please comment below. Let me know, and I'll try to make a video on it. I got a couple more topics that I'm very excited to put out, which I will be putting out in the next couple weeks. But I'm loving the feedback that you guys are giving me, and you guys already know the motto when it comes to the D.B.A. mindset. Stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, don't be average. Now go have a blessed day.